Yazan was a young man who lived in a small village in the countryside. One day, Yazan was traveling to his grandfather's house when he took a shortcut through a dark, deserted road. As Yazan was driving, he saw a young woman standing in the middle of the road. The woman was terrified and asked Yazan to help her. Yazan stopped his car and let the woman inside. As soon as Yazan got back in the car, he saw 4 figures standing in the road. The figures were tall and thin, with distorted faces and no hair. They were holding weapons, including a sword, 2 knives, a chainsaw, and a scythe. Yazan was terrified. He didn't know what to do. The woman told Yazan to drive away, and he did. Yazan and the woman drove away from the figures, but the figures chased them. Yazan was able to outrun the figures, but he was still shaken. Yazan asked the woman what had happened to her. The woman told Yazan that her car had broken down, and the figures had stopped her. She was so scared that she ran away. Yazan offered to take the woman home. The woman told Yazan that there was a shortcut that would take them home faster. Yazan agreed to take the shortcut. The woman directed Yazan down a series of dark, deserted roads. Yazan started to suspect that the woman wasn't telling the truth, but he didn't want to leave her alone. After 2 hours, Yazan realized that the woman was leading him in circles. He stopped the car and told the woman that they were going to the police station. The woman refused to go to the police station. She said that they had already arrived at her house. Yazan looked at the house, and he was shocked. The house was old and abandoned. It looked like it was haunted. The woman got out of the car and thanked Yazan for the ride. She walked into the house, and Yazan heard a door slam shut behind her. Yazan started to drive away, but he heard strange noises coming from under the car. He looked down and saw 2 more figures, just as distorted as the others. They were banging on the car windows. Yazan was so scared that he couldn't think straight. He drove away as fast as he could, but the figures chased him. The next day, Yazan's family and friends went looking for him. They found his car abandoned in front of the old house. The tires were flat, and the windshield was shattered. The search party searched the area for days, but they couldn't find Yazan. It was as if he had disappeared into thin air. Yazan's family and friends never gave up hope, but they eventually gave up the search. The old road was deemed unsafe, and no one ever went there again. Last seen on January 31, 2013, in the lobby of the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, Elisa Lam was on vacation along the West Coast, documenting her trip on her blog and calling her parents every day. On January 31st, those calls stopped. Lam went missing. Her family and the police quickly began searching for her. Surveillance footage from the hotel elevator showed Lam acting strangely. She appeared to be talking to invisible people, peering around the corner of a door, crouching in a corner, opening and closing the door. But what was happening exactly in this video raised more questions than answers, ranging from possible drug use to unknown attackers out of camera view. Around that time, hotel guests began reporting strange things happening with the hotel's water supply. The showers were horrible, said one guest who spent 8 days there during the investigation. When I turned on the faucet, the water would turn black for a second or 2 and then go back to normal. The tap water also tasted horrible. On the morning of February 19th, a hotel employee went up to the roof and used a ladder to investigate the hotel's water tanks. This is where authorities found Lam's naked, decomposed body, with her personal belongings nearby. The tank had a metal latch that could be opened, but authorities said access to the roof was secured by a lock alarm. However, it was later discovered that a room within the hotel had an unusual history. Richard Ramirez, a man convicted of 14 murders in the 1980s, lived on the 14th floor for several months in 1985. International serial killer Jack Unterweger, suspected of killing 3 prostitutes during his time there in 1991, committed suicide in prison in 1994. In 1962, a woman jumped from one of the hotel's windows and killed herself and a pedestrian she landed on. Lam was also staying in this room. The cause of Lam's death was ruled a homicide by the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office. The coroner's report stated that Lam had died from accidental drowning, but that her death was associated with agitated behavior. The report also noted that Lam had a history of bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. The circumstances of Lam's death have led to speculation and conspiracy theories. Some people believe that she was murdered, while others believe that she committed suicide. There is no definitive answer to what happened to Lam, but her story remains a mystery. Daniel Williams is a wildlife photographer who spends more than 11 months of the year in the forest. His job allows him only 1 month of vacation to spend with his friends and family. He says, "I have traveled to many forests around the world and captured unique moments. This is the unique story that I will share with you, which happened in one of the forests in Africa." Thanks to his dedication to his profession, he has visited many natural and beautiful sites and won many awards for the pictures he took. Among these trips, he decided to visit a forest in Africa, and he did not know that an extraordinary experience awaited him there. After finishing a thrilling day of shooting in the forest and packing up his equipment, he was ready to return to the camp where he was staying. Suddenly, a gazelle appeared in front of him. He noticed it because its behavior seemed strange. It was moving at an infinitely slow pace, as if it was running in slow motion as shown in movies. This caught his attention and he decided to film what was happening. He soon decided to approach it to understand what was going on. He approached it slowly and placed the camera on a nearby rock, and began filming the gazelle as it moved strangely. After a few moments, he felt that something strange was happening, so he decided to set the camera down and approached the gazelle himself. He did so, but the gazelle suddenly began to reverse in the same amazing slow motion, as if it was going back in a sped-up movie. Then it turned its gaze towards a nearby rock, and then returned to its normal position very quickly, as if there was a danger following it. He approached the rock that had attracted the attention of the gazelle, and indeed he found there a blurry black object. He decided to get closer and discovered the presence of a small child with a strange red color and red eyes. It was not a natural sight, especially since we were in Africa and I had never seen anything like it in my life. He decided to go back quickly to get the camera and document this strange scene. But when he approached the rock, he found himself suddenly falling to the ground and losing consciousness. He woke up later in the hospital, and found himself unable to speak or move. Investigations revealed that he had suffered a psychological shock due to that mysterious experience. After a few days, he regained his ability to speak and move slowly. After his colleagues opened the camera and saw the video, they discovered the existence of a mysterious scene of the gazelle, the black object, and the presence of a red child. The police took the video and began their investigation. Despite that terrifying experience, I still see the red child standing in front of the door of my hospital room.